sure how that happened, but I'll take it. Thank you. Please feel free to not even watch the video, like it, share it, just play it in the background. I mean, one thing I've noticed in my YouTube stats is the hours played of people. That's important to me. It's kind of crazy to think. Well, because that's gone up for me recently, and I think it's because of these live streams, so I appreciate people watching them. And I don't know, apparently that matters in the attention economy, how much people are paying attention. But you know, I was thinking about it, and just like, you know, if you've got 1,000 or 1,000,000 people watching your show, think about how many watch hours that would be. It'd be 1,000,000 watch hours. You know, it's kind of crazy to think that people would even watch you 20 hours a day, but you know, we'll just keep cranking out the content. We're all just free content farmers for our, you know, in the hopes that we'll hit it big. I mean, you know, we have people on the open mic who've got 50,000 TikTok followers or something. It's like, what is that like? Why even waste your time with real life? Why even waste your time? You guys are my friends now. People in the chat are my friends now. So I'm out on Brighton Beach. Just thought I'd shake it up a little bit, get some change of scenery. These are my Brighton Beach memoirs right here, instant memoirs. So, you know, well, the thing is, the beach is not that far from my house. It's actually closer for me to get here. It's like 20 minutes on the train, whereas I'm just kind of sick of taking the train an hour into fucking Manhattan every day. So look, here we are, bam. All right, Ashley, you don't need to spam the chat already, okay? I live near here. That's what I was just explaining. And so it actually kind of makes more sense for me to come here in a certain way than to go to fucking Bleecker Park every day. I mean, I'd love to be in Bleecker Park, you know, every day of my life, but the beach is pretty cool. And so I'm kind of, you know, I'm getting to know the community out here a little bit. I'm kind of, you know, well, they have this amazing grocery store, the Vasectomy Bazaar, which is going to be the title of my next live stream, Vasectomy Bazaar. And it's this incredible grocery store. They've got, oh my God, they have this incredible smoked salmon. I just had like the smoked salmon burrito with like tartar sauce. It was less than $3. I mean, you know, it's like by the pound. Well, here's one thing I was thinking about, right? Like, you go into Whole Foods, it's ridiculous how much a salad bar is now. It's like $12.99 a pound, meaning all the items are the same price, essentially, even though they weigh different things. At this salad bar, all the things are different costs per pound. And so it's like, you know, Whole Foods, you're just charging a flat fucking rate for everything. All these fucking people are looking at me out here. I thought this would be kind of normalized behavior because I'm like at the beach and shit, but I'm just talking to my mom. Hi, Mom. That's my metaphor for live streaming. Hi, Mom. We're just checking in here. Look, get used to it. This is the 21st century, okay? Pretty soon we're just going to be born with selfie sticks attached. We're just going to develop selfie sticks. Vestigial appendage selfie sticks. I mean, it's time. You know, everybody's fucking sharing. This is not any more pathetic than anybody else's content. It's unbelievable what people get likes for and follows for on TikTok. Like, literally, you can record a 3-second video of you just like in an outfit or like miming something to a pre-recorded sound from like a TV show. It's like 5 million likes. I gotta work hard for every single like. I probably have done more work per like than maybe any other creator in the creator economy. Micro influencer. What's smaller than micro? I'm like molecular influencer. But we're trying, you know, we're just, you know, my fans are smart people. What can I say? Anybody that happens into my live stream, it's just, you have to be a smart person. That's why I have such a niche audience. I have bad service. Do I have bad service? I was wondering how the service was going to be out here. So this could be very spotty, everybody. This was my you know, the beach is so poetic. I mean, the boardwalk, some of the greatest films of all time kind of have like boardwalk, you know, 400 Blows, the end of that, where he's at the sea. Fellini's got a lot of great beach kind of sequences. So, you know, of course, Neil Simon, apparently. We didn't get very far into Brighton Beach Memoirs. What we did, okay, love you, Ashley. One film we did watch, we had a Jim Belushi weekend. The Jim Belushi Marathon continues. The Jim Belushi festival, that is my life. One of our most underrated. Well, I'm kind of, you know, somebody described Belushi as Jim Belushi as discount Bill Murray, which I kind of agree with. He's more of a physical comedian. That's the thing about Jim Belushi. He's got the Belushi where he does like acrobatic kind of cartwheels and falls down and shit. And I just think I don't know why. You know, he's got a... Well, this movie, what was it? Taking Care of Business. Oh, it's the ultimate comedy dream team. It's Belushi, it's Jim Belushi and Charles Grodin. That's my whole comedy act. Anybody who's ever seen me do stand-up comedy knows that's my entire act. As I do Charles Grodin, I do Jim Belushi. I'm the king of the Jim Belushi impression in New York City. Nobody else does Jim Belushi like me. You have to specify. Well, because you could argue Jim Belushi is like the ultimate Nepo. Like if John Belushi hadn't died, Jim Belushi's career would probably have looked a lot different. Let's just say that. But I think he is talented, even though he is a Nepo hire. He's like a good kind of theater actor. You can tell he really commits to shit. And, you know, like according to Jim, I basically spent, you know, half of my pandemic watching According to Jim. And they really, him and Andy, it is like some kind of fucking low-rent Bowery Boys show or something, where it's just kind of the worst that comedy can get. Just the cheapest, crappiest. But you can tell they work hard on it, and their physical comedy. I've talked about According to Jim. Go back, watch the old live streams. You know, I've gone into According to Jim before. But anyway, we watched Taking Care of Business and The Principal. I had to see The Principal, which is like one of those Reagan-era kind of genre movies where, like, the school is such a disaster. It's such a fucking, like, war zone that they have to send this badass, like, dude in to fucking clean it up or whatever. Like Tom Berenger, the substitute. He just goes in. Or I think it was called 187 with Samuel L. Jackson. I saw that movie, I think, when I was younger. And then, of course, they spoofed it. John Lovitz, the beloved John Lovitz, did High School High, which was like a spoof of these, like, you know, inner city. It's like, you know, they're basically about the ghetto. And so they got to send Jim Belushi in to take care of business, kick everybody's ass, ride his motorcycle into the classroom. So the movie starts out with him beating the shit out of this guy's Porsche with a baseball bat, because they got to show he could take care of business. And he's no, you know, he's no wimp. He's no wuss. But Ray Don Chong is in it. Ray Don Chong is like a genre unto herself. I mean, I think Ray Don Chong is like an underrated cultural icon. Ray Don Chong is somehow in every movie from like 1985 to like 1989, and then she just like disappeared. She's like that chick, Valerie Galina, or whoever that chick was in the early 90s. Ray Don Chong is fantastic. She's in Soul Man, of course. But I can't believe I'd never seen Taking Care of Business just on Comedy Channel, or... It kind of works, you know? It's like, it's directed by Arthur Hiller, who did all the Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor movies, Silver Streak and shit. So it's just kind of like... You think they could have got more out of... I mean, they've got the two greatest comedy actors of the late 20th century, Jim Belushi and Charles Grodin. And, it wasn't as funny as you would think it would be with those actors, but it was still incredible. It was it was a delightful, you know, kind of easy film to watch. A film that was not so easy to watch. I don't know if people have seen The Cook, The Thief, his wife, and her lover. those who have seen it, I'm sure, have not forgotten the experience. It's just kind of like, it's like a big experimental theater piece from like the late 80s, early 90s, how it feels. It's like, it's very, like the set feels Andronicus. It's kind of a gross out movie with like cannibalism and all kind of fucking, I mean, Michael Gambon plays probably the most, you know, despicable, annoying in film history. You see Helen Mirren naked a lot. So, I mean, you know, that's, you know, probably a lot of people are in it for that, but it was, that was kind of the point of the movie, is it's meant to be just like in your face kind of, it's almost like a Wallace Shawn play come to life, where it's just like these characters are just so fucking, and it's all kind of like weirdly metaphorical with like food and class, and it's hard to say exactly what they're fucking, you know, critiquing, other than like capitalism or, you know, consumer, you know, gluttony, greed, kind of gangster fucking. But it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't really layer that stuff in any way that's kind of too on the nose. It stays, it reminded me of this Carol Churchill play that I saw at what's now the Audible Theater on Minetta Lane. I saw that, I forget what it was called, but it was, I don't know, it was just very British. There's like this castrato fucking, you know, choir boy that's like the soundtrack. He's like albino. It's a fucked up movie. I hated it, to be honest. I fucking hated it. I don't recommend it. Although I'm sure certain people love that film and think it's like, it's definitely like potent, but they just kind of, to me, it's just like they hammer the same fucking notes over and over and over again. The cook, the thief, his wife, and her lover. And it's, I don't know, I guess it's, it's really about Nazis or something, probably. That's the symbolism, or because her love, Helen Mirren, is his wife, and then this guy who's a Jewish bookkeeper is her lover. And there's really not more to it than that. I mean, the whole movie, they're just kind of like having sex in the kitchen for some reason. Out of this restaurant. It all takes place kind of in this restaurant. It reminded me of Spagio. I used to work at Spagio in Columbus. Spagio days, but well, because, and it was a lot like the experience of working at Spagio. Spagio went out of business, I guess. I don't know what it is now. I haven't been back. You know, it's crazy to me how many fucking businesses were put out of business by the pandemic, to be honest. I think that's something that should be talked about more. And to be honest, there needs to be some kind of reckoning. You know, because it's just like so many fucking places went out of business because they were forced to close. It's like, that's kind of crazy. You know, I mean, is that on purpose? Like, they want to consolidate, they want to monopolize, they want to just put all the little people out of business? Maybe so, you know? Things are just crumbling so fast that it's hard to not look for explanations and stuff. Maybe I'll sit for 1 minute. This is a good place to, you know, it's hard to not look for, like, why did they do this? You know, why did they just let these fucking, why did they let Spagio get a business? Well, I guess Chef Hubert sold the place in 2019 before the pandemic, like a year before the pandemic, which, what did he know? He had some kind of insider information there, but yeah, working at Spagio was, they have this big painting on the wall, because in this movie, the cook, the thief, fucking buildings or something. See, this is the adventure of having a shitty phone and trying to live stream from interesting locations. I'm in Brighton Beach. I can't even do a fucking live stream. There's people like in the middle of the ocean who are like, you know, TikToking their voyage, their solo voyage across the ocean. I can't even get a fucking signal in Coney Island. Yeah, so this movie was a lot like working in Spagio. They have this big painting that's like all these, 1700, 1800 kind of like baronial kind of aristocratic looking, like Dutch judge, so that blends in kind of with the diners. So they're clearly, they're trying to critique probably colonialism or European history. I mean, it's, to be honest, it's like, it's crazy how far they went just to get like salt and spices and shit. Like a lot of the colonialism, a lot of these fucking, initial kind of voyages, they wanted to go to the Indies to get spices. They just wanted to have better restaurants, basically. What the fuck, man? Is this thing? It's probably just all over the goddamn place. All right, are we back? Son of a bitch. I'm sorry if this is just like really choppy. Who you vote for? Blue state. This is your governor. This is the president. It's on you, Biden. This is let's go, Brandon. Can't even lie. It's with the infrastructure in this country. Let's get some 5G out here, for Christ's sake, so I can do my fucking influencing. I need to influence, for Christ's sake. I need to like exploit this, ungentrified neighborhood so cool people find out about it, want to move here and raise the rent up. Raise the clout of the neighborhood. That's why everybody's looking at me like I'm a fucking alien out here, because I'm a pioneer. I'm pioneering the influencer landscape out here. This is unexploited territories and shit. Well, we're almost to Coney Island, so that's a little bit more touristy. I wanted to go to the Mermaid Parade this weekend, but I was watching Jim Belushi movies instead. In The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover. It's just like, I don't know. I get it. I get what they're doing. It's avant-garde. I don't know. Felt a little hollow to me. I mean, those are the people that invented all of this shit. The colonialists, the colonizers, were the fucking British, right? They said, what is it? Every 8 days or something, a country celebrates its independence from Great Britain. That shows you how much colonizing they fucking did. Their navy and shit, right? The sun never sets on the British Empire. I guess that's what that movie is about. Is Michael Gambon, the British Empire, Chef Hubert. So I work for Chef Hubert. So they have this fucking painting on the wall at Spagio that's just like, it feels exactly like The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover. And it's like this oil painting. It looks like, fucking like a Dutch Masters painting, honestly. It looks like Velasquez or something. It looks like Las Meninas, except it's Spagio. It's Chef, it's his wife Helga, it's their daughter Heather who helped. She was like the manager of the place, and it's and then all the yuppie regulars. It was painted sometime in the late '80s or like early '90s, and it feels like that. They're all wearing like these big shoulder pads, and it's just the ultimate yuppie piece of art. And the chef is right in the middle of the painting. He's wearing his fucking like chef his chef shirt with like the buttons and shit. And he's like, he's doing like the Italian chef's kiss hand gesture. Leaning in to explain the captivated diners some of the subtleties and the intricacies of the dish. And that he liked to, he was one of those guys. He was like a local celebrity chef. He was on the local news and shit, telling people how to cook some recipe or something. And he looked, he had red hair, he had a mustache. I guess he was a fucking party animal. He used to go around the world with my friend's dad, who was like an ultra capitalist. Who God knows what they would do. They'd go around, I don't know, trying to pick up chicks or whatever, just sexually harassing people, probably, basically, is, what we would know it as today. Back then, it was just good old-fashioned, bird dogging or whatever the fuck. Good old just fun. But yeah, the Spagio has strong the cook, the thief, his wife, and her lover vibes. I was a busser there. And, you know, they paid me like a subhuman wage. I think I made like $100 a week to work like 4 days or something. Insanity. I think I worked 16 hours a week, maybe, and made like $125 after taxes. No, that can't be right. Can that be right? I mean, it was, you know, I was a busser, even though I was like 21, 22. I should have been a server. I mean, that was my kind of a big mistake in life, is there were all these other people that worked there that were making $300 a night or whatever, who were probably not even working as hard as me. It's just I had never had serving experience. You know, that's, if you can get a job as a server or a fucking bartender or whatever, in a certain way, that might be as good as anything. Right now, apparently the economy, the numbers are kind of cooked where it's like, yeah, we have low unemployment, but like these are low wage jobs that people have. People have multiple jobs. So it's like, yeah, they might have fucking jobs, but they're not, you know, the cost of living has risen so much. And even if you're working, you can't afford an apartment. And so, yeah, you know, all these fucking restaurants have closed and shit. I mean, I don't know. What the fuck else should I talk about? Oh, yeah. I don't know. The open mic went pretty well last night. It was Pride. You know, not that the themes really affect, you know, what happens that much. Maybe I should sit for a minute. Am I gonna get reception here? One of these is like a Trump village. Like, I think that right there might be Trump, Fred Trump's fucking... Didn't Woody Guthrie live in Coney Island? Toward the end of his life, he lived on Mermaid Avenue, right? I mean, that was the Wilco album, was Mermaid Avenue. They found all these lyrics or whatever. Woody Guthrie's family had all these lyrics that he had written that didn't have music. It's a pretty good album, honestly. Billy Bragg and Wilco. Am I showing my ex-Cineal status here? By being pro... I mean, I'm not the biggest Wilco head. I'm not the biggest Tweety, you know, like, fanatic or anything. But maybe I would be if I actually started listening to them. I don't know. Let me just... is that okay for a sec? Yeah, I don't know. You know, for all my time living in New York, I only go to the beach about once a year. And so, I don't know. Maybe it's just I should embrace it. It's like living in Venice Beach or something. Like, it takes me 20 minutes to go to the beach. It's not bad. It's pretty good. You know, they got good food out here. It's actual cooking, like Chef Hubert would make. You know, you can go to a salad bar and get a food with like ingredients, different sauces and shit. Salmon. I had smoked salmon. That's healthy, sort of. You know, even though it's 90 degrees or whatever, it's like 10 degrees cooler out here because of the ocean. You know, this might just have to be my hot beach summer. Everything's a summer now. Everybody has to append like a name on, like, oh, it's Rat Boy Summer, right? This is the thing this year, is the guys that are in are like guys who look like rats. Barry Keoghan or Jeremy Allen White. I don't know. I mean, I was born in the year of the rat. Do I qualify as a rat boy? I'm not sure I would want to. I think women at this point are probably doing anything they can to make men seem appealing. They can't seem to find anything that they, you know, actually want. It's all just trends. You know, it's hot girl summer, it's rat boy summer. There you go, Chef Hubert. Well, you know, working at Spagio was like my first experience. I felt so fancy when I worked there. I felt like, oh my God, I'm a part of this like European culture with like, you know, those chairs that look like, you know, when you take that thing off a wine bottle and you can like twist it into like a chair and a table. That's how Spagio felt. But the pancakes, the blueberry pancakes at Spagio were definitely probably the best pancakes I've ever had. Sometimes I would work the brunch. If you worked a double, they'd give you a meal for free. As long as it was less than $15. You couldn't get like any, scallops. I love the scallops there. I mean, the motherfucker could cook. He was like the cook for the King of Spain or something. Supposedly. He was like the personal chef for the King of Spain. Do you remember the fucking Spagio painting? It's the most yuppie self-hagiography thing I've ever seen. It's like some kind of medieval, Renaissance era, like Da Vinci painting. It's like the fucking Sistine Chapel ceiling, but there's Chef Hubert and Helga. Helga was and forgive me for saying this, but she was not a great boss. Let's just say that. She was a mean lady. She always wanted to know where your button was. They had this I wore a blue apron. It was the first job I ever had where I wore a tie. I had to wear a fucking shirt and tie every fucking day. Black pants, black shoes, shirt, tie. With a blue apron, and you better have your fucking Spagio button. If you didn't have your Spagio button, you'd go up to Helga, you'd be like, "Hi, Helga." She'd be like, "Where's your button? You don't have your button." It's like, fuck you. I'm doing this for $12 an hour. I'm selling you my life for $12 an hour. But I get to be a part, I was waiting on fucking professors and shit. Yeah, Adam S., we were just talking about Wilco. I'm in Woody Guthrie's Coney Island. I'm in Brighton Beach today, so we're on the boardwalk with all the old Russian people. We're in Odessa today, eating smoked salmon. They really have got life figured out here. These guys over here just sitting fucking tanning and shit. That's what it's all about. Yeah, so Chef Hubert, I wore a fucking shirt and tie. I felt fancy as fuck, working for this European chef guy. And, I don't know, the servers were all scumbags. They were all drug addicts. There was one guy who worked there who had lived in New York. There was a couple guys. There was Philip, who worked at the wine bar. He grew up on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. For some reason, he chose to go to the Ohio State University. He loved it. He was stoked about it. He was like, it's a top 10 English program in the public universities. He worked at the fucking wine bar of Spagio. Yeah. Yeah, when I was 21, driving my Pontiac Phoenix there, I worked at practically every place on that fucking bank block or whatever. I worked at Jenny's Ice Cream. The Drexel never hired me, the bastards. I applied there a bunch of times. They didn't hire me. But Spagio, Tony Bennett played Spagio once in the early 90s. They had a fucking recording of it, of Tony Bennett playing at Spagio. Well, Jack got me the job. He had worked there. And so being Jack Jr., they just thought, I would be great for the job, so they hired me. And yeah, I waited on professors and shit. That was pretty exciting for me. Even they were snobby as hell. They really acted like they were better than you, or better than everybody. There is a fucking caste system in this goddamn country. There is a fucking social caste system, and it's just class, And so Spagio, it's like you're the fucking busboy, or it's a white tablecloth place. One time there was like some Saudi royalty guy. They made me go out and buy cigarettes for him. He was so like important and fancy. I went to like the fucking 7-Eleven that used to be over there. Now it's like a fucking pizza place, or I don't even know what the fuck it is now. Now it's probably an apartment building or something. I haven't been back to Grandview in like probably 4 or 5 years, since before the pandemic. And I mean, Grandview Avenue has definitely changed. I mean, I guess it's just more of the same. It's more restaurants and shit, just more fancy. It's steakhouses and Cameron Mitchell type shit. I don't know if he's still a thing. Everything in Columbus is a restaurant group. Columbus is like the home of the restaurant group. I think the Aubergine is still there. The Aubergine was the chef's private dining club. So there was Spagio, which was for like the poors. And then there was the Aubergine, which cost like $10,000 a year to be a member. And the chef would like cook for you. He didn't actually cook any of the shit. Even though he was the chef, he never cooked anything. They actually had somebody else You know, he would go in the kitchen sometimes and be like, okay, that's good, but there was a big picture in the back of the aubergine on the wall of the chef with Kenny Rogers. Kenny Rogers was like the most famous person that had ever eaten at the aubergine. And so there was a big picture of the chef. What a pair that is, fucking the chef with Kenny Rogers. Two guys that just love life. Just bon vivants, the chef and Kenny Rogers. But one time one of my first days there, I dropped an entire tray of glassware. I was taking glassware to the bar. Holy shit. I dropped an entire tray of glassware into the ice once. The thing is, if you broke, we had like a busser station in the back. If you broke glass into the ice, you had to take all the ice out. You had to fucking wipe it down. You had to wash it out, because if glass got into the ice, you could have a real big problem. So it was basically hell on earth. I mean, it was really a hellish. You know, that's one reason why I have such a, until recently, I've kind of avoided eating in fucking restaurants, because it's just like, when you work in restaurants, you're just like, you see what goes on there. People really do earn their $20 an hour or whatever the fuck it is, their tips. You know, in this country, we have this tip system. In Europe, I guess they don't have this. It's like, it's just built into the check or whatever. But you know, for somebody without maybe like a trade or like, you know, an education, being a server, being a waiter, being a bartender is really the best thing you can do in this fucking country, actually, to like kind of have your own independence, to be an artist. You know, there was this fucking guy who worked everybody there was a fucking artist or a cokehead or both, you know, just trying to hang on to like whatever the fuck their creativity was. There was this guy at the bar who was like 60 or something, and he's still a fucking bartender. He's all old and shit. And he was a painter. You know, it's like, that's what he fucking did on his days off. He fucking painted and shit. But, you know, seeing people working there and just the frenzy and the, you know, it's hard on your body. Being on your feet, being in those hard shoes. They insist that you have like a hard sole black dress shoe. You know, it's like, that's part of what they're tipping you for. You know, that's part of the aristocratic vibe of the whole thing, is it's just like, they want you to be on your feet. You can't sit. You know, that's bad form. You know, you gotta have your shirt and tie and your fucking Spagio button. Yeah, so, they shut down the weed shop that I've been going to, Best Buds on Broadway, the best weed store in New York. There's this big, see, this is an example of bad government. You know, the problem is not necessarily the government. The problem is that we use it for stupid shit like this. These guys weren't harming anybody. They were providing they had a great small business. Best Buds, they were open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including goddamn Christmas. And $15 eighths, they usually had pretty good stuff. It was $15, but it didn't get you high. You know, I was a satisfied customer. I went there on Christmas Day. That's how big of a crackhead I am. I took the train to the Upper West Side from Midwood to walk to, it was snowing and everything, to buy $15 eighths. And so the police put a lock on it, shuttered it up. Now they're fucking out of business. Now I'm lost. I'm just like spiraling. Like, where do I go? So I went to this place on St. Mark's Place about a week ago, thinking it's St. Mark's Place. You know, it's like, that's got to be a reliable, you know, environment to buy weed in. I mean, what has happened to New York? So I go in to this place. I don't know, it was before the open mic, so I was careless. I was careless about it. You know, you kind of trust these dealers too much. But the guy had eights for like 30, 35, and 40. And I was like, you know, that's not my price range. I'm a $15 eighth guy. Come on. I mean, it's market, it's competition. Is this why they put these guys out of business? They want to drive the price up. They don't want there to be poor people weed shops. They want there to be, they want there to be all credentialed. They don't want it to be all housing works, dispensary. I can't afford that shit. Fucking, you know, the edibles. I don't really do edibles, but for 10 edibles, it's like $30 or something. So, I bought this weed. So I was like, I just walked out of the store. I was like, thanks. And he's like, wait, what do you want? What do you want? Because a lot of dealers will do this, where they'll be like, what do you want to buy? And then they'll sell you something at the price that you want. So I was like, I was prepared to spend 20 because I was just like, if I spend 20, I'll probably get something good because I'm usually at 15, and 20 is that much. It's better, right? I mean, that's a premium that I'm paying to get something that I know is going to work. So I gave the guy 20 bucks. I didn't even look at it. I should have looked at it. I should have smelled it. I should have done all that. But then as soon as I looked at it outside, I'm like, this is garbage. It reminded me of this weed that Eric brought back from the Philippines. When he went to the Philippines, he bought weed there, and it was like grass. It was like dried. I mean, it was literally like long blades of fucking weed, like not nugs, not bud, but like it had like long hair. And it smelled kind of funky. It tastes funky. So it's not as potent as normal. So it's, you know, I'm doing the best that I can under the circumstances. But these live streams really are a lifeline for me. This is my best venue. Look at this, 5 people. I mean, if there were 5 people in a bar watching a performance, you'd just be like, this is empty, this is pathetic. But 5 people in a live stream is like, holy shit, this is fucking, what's like the Hollywood Bowl. Yeah, the open mic last night was amazing, honestly. We had some really freaking talented people. We had some really amazing guitar players, to be honest. There's, you know, the thing about doing this is like, you know, we have roughly 30, 35 people perform a week, and you just see so many freaking talented people that it's just kind of overwhelming. You're just like, it really does take, you got to be the 1% of the 1% to really break through. I mean, there's so many good-looking people. There's so many people who can sing, so many people who can write good songs, so many people who can fucking play piano. A lot of, you know, but like, you know, in New York, there's always somebody taller, better looking, funnier, faster, smarter, with more followers. It's like you really gotta have something really special to break through. And this is something that I've been thinking about. It's like, maybe I'm not fast enough. You know, like when I'm up on stage, that's one reason why I like doing this, is because like it's kind of a way to just like keep digging, to get deeper, to say what you really want to say, to kind of excavate, to share the things that you've been thinking about. It's very hard to do that in 5 minutes or in front of people, honestly. Being in front of people, I feel like you have way more conscientiousness about, I cannot waste these people's time. You know, like they're giving me their attention. It's impolite to come up here unprepared. And it's honestly, it's pretty hard to make off the cuff remarks in any kind of situation, which I think that's something that I really want to overcome. You know, like I think that's important. I think it is important that we be able to do this kind of thing. And, you know, like if you're a comedian going up with your material or something, that's a little different than like being able to kind of like put together an impromptu kind of toast per se, or you know, just kind of some kind of speech, ad-libbing, quipping, making remarks. I mean, at the open mic, usually when somebody's performing, if they say something that sticks out to me, I'll write it down, and then I have to keep it in my head to go up there and sort of unload it and say it. And a lot of times I'll forget, or else I just won't be able to come up with anything. You know, I mean, sometimes you can. It's like hitting a baseball. You know, it's reflexes. and you don't hit it every time. I mean, sometimes you get one off, but you know, a lot of times the shit that you think is going to be funny, you kind of lean into it like, oh, this is funny, and then you get nothing from the audience, and you're just like, what is this disparity? Why did I think that was funny, and yet like it did nothing in this room? You know, that's something that I have a problem with always as an artist. My whole life, I thought I was going to be way more like connected to people than, or like I thought people were going to resonate more and click with what I was doing a lot, you know? And so like, that's one thing that's difficult about, you know, trying to be vulnerable and try things in front of an audience that are unscripted and you know, off the cuff, and things that you believe are funny. Like last night I made a remark about Nickelback, right? Ed had this whole thing in his act where he sang a Nickelback song. And Nickelback has started to be rehabilitated, I've noticed. There was a long, dark period where just Nickelback was universally reviled, and everybody knew they're the worst fucking band that exists. Like, Nickelback sucks. We all agreed Nickelback sucks. Creed, you know, it was sort of in the same era that Creed sucked. Whatever that, they're sort of like borderline Christian rock, I guess. They're like they're butt rock, right? That's butt rock. That's what we used to call it back in the day, back in the indie rock heydays. That shit was butt rock. But now there's sort of a Nickelback and Creed renaissance where people are sort of going, wait a minute. I guess it's an ironic kind of reappropriation. It's like Trad Cath or something. That now Creed is good again. People are like, oh, wait a minute, we were wrong. We owe you a public apology. Nickelback, for 20 years of like, Phil Collins, kind of the same thing. Remember when everybody hated Phil Collins? Because of South Park. He beat South Park at the Academy Awards for Best Song or whatever. His fucking song from Tarzan won. And so those guys just fucking shit on Phil Collins every chance they could get. And so everybody just started to hate Phil Collins. There was an article in Rolling Stone magazine about how Phil Collins' life was like a living hell because everybody fucking hated him and just felt like impunity to just like shit all over him. That's just like the laziness of like groupthink, which is something that frustrates me to no end. It's just like people just like follow whatever, okay, Nickelback sucks. And great, they do suck. I think they suck. But like, it just became like the go-to, like, these guys suck, fuck Nickelback. You know, like, it was like safe to shit on Nickelback. And so last night I said something about how Nickelback was always good. And the audience immediately went, you know, you could feel like they were aghast. They were like, fucking, no. Nickelback was not always good. Nickelback, we were right. Nickelback has always sucked. Chad Kroeger. Hero. I mean, they were on the fucking Spider-Man soundtrack. They had like the 9/11. They sucked at the time. You know, they were always like dad rock. You know, this is another thing I hate, is they use the word dad to just disparage anything. Anything is like, oh, those are dad movies. Those are dad jokes. It's dad bod. It's dad rock. It's like, come up with a new fucking way to slander things. Because I used to like dad rock. I remember the first time I heard the word dad rock. Somebody called Audible Detonation, the band I was in, dad rock. And that was kind of like the death blow. Because it was just like, oh, we're dad rock. It went from being garage rock revival to dad rock like that. And it's like, so what? We're just going to throw away all of the fucking good music from like the 60s because it's dad rock? Like the Rolling Stones, oh, they're dad rock. What the fuck even is dad rock anymore? You know, now the dads are granddads. So dad rock is Nickelback. Or I don't know, is dad rock is like fucking Linkin Park. Linkin Park and Jay-Z and Blink-182. That's dad rock. If you want to use that, dad bod is good, but dad rock is bad? I don't get it. There's no logic to this dad pejorative. I mean, I like my dad. I like his taste. I like his music. You know, it's just, they want to divide us. They want to divide everybody. Well, I thought people were going to be, yeah, Bud Light. People did go to the bar. The hypnosis worked. They did go to the bar and they bought drinks after. So it's just a big commercial for drinking, you know? It's getting harder and harder to get people wasted, you know? Apparently in medieval times, all they drank was alcohol. They were fucking buzzed and drunk pretty much all the time. Because fucking, that was the only thing that was sanitary. You couldn't, water would kill you. You get dysentery or fucking cholera, or you'd fucking die from drinking water. But if you're drinking fucking hard cider for breakfast, then you're like ready to, they were probably having a fucking blast. They only lived for 48 years, but they had a fucking great time. Now we're all gonna live to be 90 years old just hating each other, never having sex. Everybody's an incel. Gen Z hates millennials. Millennials hates dad rock. Dad rock hates dad bod. Karens are everywhere. Oh, so there was an article about Gen Z doesn't trust journalism anymore. They trust influencers. They don't verify. They don't fact check anything. They just have people that are influencers that tell them things, and then they vibes. They decide based on like vibes. Everything's vibes now. It's like we vibed. Did we vibe? Did we not vibe? My dad rock, he had a dad rock vibe. I wasn't really into that vibe. It wasn't my vibe. The vibes were off. We had to leave, the vibes were off. We're just in a vibe. Where the fuck did this come from? Everything is fucking vibes now. What does this mean? Is this because everybody's high? I mean, it's true, like vibes are everything. I guess that's progress. We just realized this. But people used to fact check. You know, the New York Times, maybe not the best vibe. It's got a dad vibe, I guess. It's a little too paywalled. They said that Gen Z won't look at anything behind a paywall, which I agree. I mean, I think that's the death of journalism right there. It's just like all the good journalism is behind a fucking paywall. That's why I'm on YouTube, baby, with my conspiracy theories. I got to get my unvetted, unfact-checked, just... shooting at the hip. It's my shooting at the hip style. I'm ready to be on Fox News. I'll debate Tucker. Put me on fucking Tucker, man. I will smoke Tucker, all right? Tucker, you motherfucker. I'm gonna whoop your ass, man. There you go. Yeah, there's a lot of good people on YouTube. It's yeah. But see, this is what I'm saying is it's like that's an influencer. You know, that's not like, it's not the fucking New York Times. It's not fucking, Matt Taibbi has been, he was on Rolling Stone back in the day. I remember people really being into Matt Taibbi. He seems like he goes after corruption. He kind of has a Rob Fetterman vibe to me. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm the biggest. I've never really read any of his shit, to be honest. When people labeled him like the new Hunter S. Thompson, that kind of put me off. Those are some big fucking shoes to fill. I mean, Hunter S. Thompson, there's not going to be another Hunter S. Thompson. You know, it's like, there's Andrew Callahan now. I like Channel 5. I don't know if people watch Channel 5. Maybe that's like... I don't really get into like obscure YouTube shit for the most part. You know, I'm on dad YouTube. I watch Gene Shepard and shit. I watch fucking Hee Haw. I watch Hee Haw clips. One of my favorite TikTok accounts, Country Classics, with all kind of clips from Hee Haw. Buck Owens and Don Rich. It never got any better than that, okay? They used to know how to make things in this country. That's what a fucking Telecaster and a fucking Buck Owens and the Buckaroos will show you. People directly interface with personalities now as opposed to mass culture. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, so that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to vibe it out and, I mean, everybody's a fucking pundit now. It's like who's a real expert? It doesn't even fucking matter, So it's like everything is eyewitness. I think that's the new capabilities. Like now there's videos of practically every fucking thing that happens, so you can get sort of an objective bead on things to some degree. That's what TikTok. TikTok is kind of the panopticon of fucking every fucking point of view on Earth, basically. And things just, that's where I found out Donald Sutherland died. Rest in peace, Donald Sutherland. I think we should take a moment to just recognize his amazing career. The way that he did things, he's in Animal House. He's got a small part. He's in fucking, he's in JFK. He's Mr. X. But then he's in Don't Look Back. Isn't he in fucking some Altman movies or something? He's in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. He had Keith for Sutherland, for Christ's sake. We wouldn't have 24 if it wasn't for Donald Sutherland. He's in the Hunger Games. I thought that was cool. I thought that was kind of an inspirational. See, he's not above that. Like, I think Donald Sutherland is a... Oh, you got to see Fellini's Casanova. It's on YouTube. If you've never watched Fellini's Casanova, honestly, it's one of the best movies about writing ever made. Because Casanova was really a writer. And it's fantastic. Donald Sutherland plays Casanova. The sex scenes are almost like, commedia dell'arte or whatever. But, how many American actors did a fucking Fellini movie where they played the main role? Like, nobody. Donald Sutherland, I think, is just about it. Terrence Stamp was in a Fellini short film, but I can't think of any other American actors that were, the main character in a goddamn Fellini movie. So you can't beat that. We watched Moon Over Parador. I don't know if people have seen Moon Over Parador, but it was, it's the texture of the movie. The texture is part of what makes the Paul Mazursky movies work. It's just like, they just look so good. The film stock, the lighting, the locations, the buildings. Richard Dreyfuss is really Dreyfussing it the fuck up. He's yelling and, oh, Richard Dreyfuss, he's all over. I'm the dictator of Parador. So, I remember that one of my earliest memories is seeing Moon Over Parador. For some reason, my dad, Jonathan Winters, is great in it. He plays a CIA guy. My dad was into Moon Over Parador because it's like, the thing that kind of disappointed me about it was it wasn't as much about the politics as I maybe expected it to be. It was like, it was more about acting, and theater and shit. But it's like, it's sort of about, a Banana Republic, and Raul Julia's amazing in it. He's an amazing actor. Raul Julia was one of the fucking best, man. M. Bison, come on. Talk about range. The dude is in Moon Over Parador, and he's in the Street Fighter fucking movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme. I mean, he's playing M. Bison, for Christ's sake. That's like, this dude played Othello. He's playing the modern Othello, M. Bison. And, he's a real one. Shout out to fucking Raul Julia, wherever you are, Gomez. You'll always be Gomez to me. Those Addams Family movies fucking rip. Those movies are fucking hilarious, man. And Raul Julia it's a master class. And he's great in fucking Moon Over Parador. He's probably the best part of the movie. But, Boys from Brazil is another movie that's kind of about that. There's like this kind of Nazis in South America kind of thing going on. But, yeah, I don't know. It's sort of a late Mazursky. It was one of the last movies he made. But, yeah, I'm out in Brighton Beach. Do you have any recommendations out here? I know this is kind of your, I went to the Vasectomy Bazaar. I had some nice smoked salmon. They put it in little roses for you. Now that is class. The people out here have class. So we're just enjoying the coastline here. We're out in the Hamptons for the summer. This is my Hamptons weekend. So let's get a load of this. Get some of this nice. Look at that, everybody. That beautiful Atlantic. I think, what is that, Staten Island over there? Imitation caviar, $3, okay. Yeah, apparently, Kuzu Daddy, his friend brings like a guitar out here, so, oh, that's Jersey, okay. So I probably want to come down and try and do some fucking shows and shit, play some music and do some extemporaneous lecturing, do some more live streaming, you know. Maybe I'll start walking. Let me keep moving here. Yeah, so I mean, I don't even know how I guess it's up to all of us to just fucking go out and be fucking citizen journalists. The content thing, it's just pouring things into this idea that you're gonna fool's air. Fuck, I know I'm gonna start losing people. It keeps getting interrupted. Okay, are we back? Are we back? Sorry, I know I'm gonna start losing people if I keep getting interrupted, but the signal sucks out here for some reason. I don't know. By the fucking Oceanside Grill. It's still not really hot enough to swim, you know. It's like, I mean, it's hot, but it's like the ocean is probably fucking still cold and shit. I don't even have a fucking bathing suit. Yeah, I got to get around them. I mean, the poetry festival is coming up. You know, that's always a big thing. I'm going to be hosting on one of the stages. I'm not sure which one yet. Probably the fucking poetry brothel stage. That's where it was last year. That'll be fun. I'm stoked about that. Looking forward to that. It's going to be big this year because now it's like all these people have readings. There's going to be more people that are sort of like, you know, descending who know each other, young people. It's exciting. You know, it's exciting that there's all these open mics and there's this kind of, you know, variety of choices. Everybody's kind of got their own way of doing it and different venues, you know, like that's the dream, is to have like a circuit of a bunch of different places you can go and perform. And it's like, how do we figure out how to turn this into an industry and a big business and monetize it and make a living? You know, we got to get rich as fuck. That's what everything is about, you know. It's just I don't know how to fucking do that. You got to have money to make money. You got to spend money. I don't have any money to spend. I can't even get my fucking teeth fixed. But I don't know. We'll do it as long as we can. You know, we're learning. To me, it's an end already. You know, it's like we're already having kind of a great performing life. You know, I mean, Peter Glissman said something last night that I agreed with about stand-up comedians being, you know, they're good people maybe to hire to be in films and to act and shit, because, like, you know, when they go up on stage, they have to do everything themselves. They have to be the writer, the director, the actor. It's like a one-person show in a lot of ways. They write their own material, they embody. That's what drew me to doing, you know, poetry is like that, but it's not generally performative. I guess slam poetry is more performative and more kind of like acting or doing a monologue or something. But, you know, in academic poetry or whatever, you know, the kind of more traditional poetry, it's like, it's more just like they don't want you to do that. They don't want you to be theatrical. They want you to just be boring and read it. And I don't know. I do think that that's a great form of training, though, is to just go up on stage. I mean, comedians got their shit memorized. You know, poets, you got your piece of paper. You're reading off the paper. You know, it'd be nice to take this national. I want to do a national open mic tour where you know, that's, you know, I love having headquarters in New York and having a show in New York and like being live from New York every week. That's really exciting to me. And like the talent here, it's a fucking crossroads. You know, it's just like people come from all over the goddamn world. They come through Manhattan and they come into that room. It's like we get amazing people. And so from a vantage point, it's also just very interesting culturally. because you're having so many different points of view and different corners of the world kind of come through there. And that's a unique opportunity. I would like to do that as long as I can, but see, now I'm like over by Coney Island. You think this shit would work better. It's getting worse. Maybe it's because there's more people over here. Is it frozen? Fuck. Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting over by Coney Island, but it's like the signal is getting worse for some reason. You'd think it'd be getting better. You know, one of the things I like about coming out here is it feels like real New York. It's like you hear all these different languages, the food is good, the streets are kind of more, like I walked into the fucking, I mean, this guy's face is bleeding. He's mumbling to himself, he's rubbing his face with some kind of rag, and it's like there's literally an open sore on his face that's bleeding. I walked into the bathroom earlier to take a whiz, and this fucking guy is sitting at the fucking urinal taking a piss. At the same time, he's like talking to his dogs. He's got 2 dogs on leashes. They're all wet because they've been swimming in the fucking ocean. He's like, no, don't sit there. Don't sit on the floor, because the floor is like all wet with piss and stuff. It's like the dude is like at the urinal with his dogs on fucking leashes. See, they're influencers. They get it. They're influencing right here. They're influencing. See? They've got like a selfie stick too. I'm like, that's New York. You know, I'm like, should I be in here with these dogs? These like wet fucking like German shepherds or whatever. Like, I don't know. I guess it's all fun and games till you get punched in the face, but you know, it's just considerably easier to get out here than fucking to go to fucking even lower Manhattan every day. Getting over that bridge, man. Yesterday, before the open mic, I was taking, and they're like, all the fucking trains are rerouted over the D line because there's a goddamn tree branch at Avenue M, which is my stop. There's a tree branch in the middle of the track, so we gotta reroute all this shit. So I'm like, I had to ride all the fucking way out to Coney Island on the D line and then take the Q toward Manhattan to get to Avenue M. And it's just, you know, it's crazy to me they can even keep that fucker running as much as they can. Because it's just like going over that bridge and here's Nathan. I mean, I used to be obsessed with Coney Island when I was fucking, you know, before I moved to New York, I wrote this fucking short story about Coney Island, about a magician. In a, you know, like a freak show or something out in Coney Island. And I guess actually a lot of Manhattan was kind of pioneered out here. You know, Coney Island was kind of the first place where they had kind of tall structures with lights, and, you know, Luna Park and all that kind of shit. The train tracks and all that. They kind of did things out here. And then that same kind of amusement energy, that kind of, you know, striving upwards in the engineering, they took that kind of into Manhattan. I mean, that's one of the marvels and one of the things you can kind of take for granted of New York City is like, you know, this is on the fucking subway. You know, it's the same price to come here as it is to go to fucking downtown or Soho or whatever. You can get to the goddamn beach, you know, for $2.90. I mean, they keep raising the goddamn price, but it's kind of crazy. You know, and I've never really taken advantage of that. You always want to go in. You know, you want to go into the center, kind of the meeting place. You know, but it's like, it's kind of the fringes and the edges that are more interesting in a way. You know, this is, you know, there's more kind of diversity. There's more income diversity probably, although who knows? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of rich people out here too, but you know, the working class, the underclass, the immigrant, you know, class, more, you know, you find more kind of, the kind of, you know, the jumble of all that and kind of people from different cultures coexisting, you know, living in the same neighborhoods. I mean, fucking Midwood, you know, Midwood is Hasidic Jewish, but there's fucking, you know, there's a lot of Muslim people too. You know, there's a lot of people in hijabs. There's a lot of people with Palestinian flags right, you know, in the same fucking neighborhood. And so just like the cultural kind of like, you know, clatter of all of the different registers and stuff, but also, you know, the coexisting, the kind of, you know, laying next to each other, laying on top of each other. You know, Manhattan is more kind of a homogenized, you know, now it's corporate. I mean, we're Chipotle boys, right? So this thing, apparently, all these women have, you know, they just communicate everything to each other in like these secret Instagram chats and Facebook groups. Like there's a consensus, you know, because women are so kind of like told that they're in danger all the time that, you know, they have to confer with each other to just like, you know, if anything comes out, it's like, well, they have to tell everybody else. And so now, you know, it's rat boy summer or whatever. They all want to fuck guys who look like rats because that's what they're talking about in their Instagram chats. And that's just the trend. But it's also, you're a Chipotle boy. Apparently there are all these guys in Manhattan who, you know, you meet them in online dating or whatever. They're Chipotle boys. Because they eat at Chipotle like 6 days a week or whatever. I'm like, I didn't know they had a fucking word for that. I'm a Chipotle boy. I didn't know that. Oh my God. All right. What should I do? I'm surrounded by music all of a sudden. You hear that? We got a nice mashup here. We got some salsa. We got some Sade. Now we got some, what's that? That's like smooth jazz Weather Channel music. Phil Collins. Yeah, but Phil Collins is back. Phil Collins is like Michael McDonald. They got hood credibility. Phil Collins, you know, look at the comments of a YouTube Phil Collins video. It's all about Phil Collins could go to any hood in the United States in the middle of the night. He'd be safe because his fucking music slaps. The drums, come on, that shit's hitting. It's atmosphere, you know? It's super produced, it's super 80s, super coked out, super brittle and kind of cold and corporate. It's American Psycho music. And, you know, his cover of The Supremes, whatever the fuck that is. Didn't he do a whole Motown album or something? Like, Jesus Christ. Nobody needs that. Nobody needs a Phil Collins Motown covers album. Who thought that was a good idea? That's how much coke they were on in the 80s. They were like, Jesus Christ, we need more of these fucking Motown covers, man. The originals just were not good enough, Phil Collins. You need to redo all of them. And I think he was like an Eno guy. I think he like, Eno kind of showed him, or like he played drums on some Eno shit, I think. And so I think like some of his production technique, his drum sounds and shit, I think were kind of, you know, he kind of adapted kind of Eno techniques. But I could be wrong about that. I'm not necessarily the biggest Phil Collins head. Yeah. Oh my God, there's some kind of fucking graduation or something happening. This fucking amphitheater up here is crazy, man. It's like old. It's got these kind of like Neptune fucking, you know, carvings on it and shit. We'll check this out. We'll go get some eyewitness on the street reporting. This is like a high school graduation. It's all these kids in green fucking gowns and shit. I really just want to get a shot of the amphitheater. They came all the goddamn way out here. I'm on the boardwalk, you know, doing some, you know, in the field reporting. Trying to keep it interesting. Get some nice. Okay, I don't know how close. I don't know. It's probably just fucking too many goddamn people straining the grid. They're straining the grid. See, with this, I mean, this is America, you know? I got Cricket Wireless, so I mean, I'm not necessarily the most high-end Zula restaurant. Okay. Yeah, I just always thought this was like the coolest fucking building. You know, probably, I mean, can you imagine they built this shit 100 years ago, fucking 130 years ago? Just look at the fucking class they had. Look at that. Look at the magic of the world that they lived in versus the shit that they build now. All right. So yeah, this is some kind of fucking. Oh my God, okay, here we go. We got your mobile spay and neuter clinic. We got the spay and neuter RV here. We can just pull that bad boy up to anybody's house and spay or neuter your animal. Okay, what else? What else do we need to talk about in our fucking crumbling society? What needs to be fixed? Especially in New York, it felt like they just wanted to make everybody have as much fun as possible so they could just like forget what happened and just like, you know, not just get over it as fast as possible. You know, like the pandemic, there was such a steep drop off because they just canceled everything. Everything plummeted. And it's like, you know, in New York, there were fucking refrigerator trucks and shit full of bodies, you know? And so it's like, when I came back in March of 21, you know, there was all these young people moving in. The election had just happened, right? Trump lost. And so everybody on TV, you saw people in New York dancing in the streets, excited that he had fucking lost and shit. And you're just like, man, you know, that's where you want to be. You want to be in this fucking kind of party. You want to be in this fun fucking city. You know, and like the last couple of years, it has felt that way. It's just felt like, you know, they want people to go out. They want people to spend money, go out to eat, go to fucking Jonathan Taubin, you know, fucking dance party on Our Wicked Lady rooftop. Soul party or whatever the fuck that is. Soul shake party. And now it feels like the euphoria is kind of wearing off. You know, the morphine, the painkiller, the cash injection, the stimulus, the unemployment, the PUA, the rent-controlled apartment, the sublet, the pandemic sublet. You know, I think that's obviously one of the reasons why the fucking real estate market is the way it is, because they basically gave everybody a fucking down payment for a house. You know, they sent everybody $20,000 in April 2021. So it's like suddenly everybody had enough money to like make a fucking down payment on a house, and they did. You know, places that had no demand, places upstate, houses upstate, suddenly everybody had to get out of the fucking city, and they had 20 grand. It's like, of course they were gonna buy a fucking house upstate. But it's like we're going to be paying for the consequences of that forever, it seems like. You know, it's just like the inflation. You know, if you look at oh, come on, you piece of shit. If you look at how much debt they've added to the economy, thank you for bearing with our technical stutters. Yeah, but Trump added more money of debt to the economy, obviously, because there's huge stimulus packages and shit. You know, that was all passed in 2020 before he fucking, you know, lost the election. I hate it. You know, I've gotten to the point where I just like, I can't even fucking eat Chipotle anymore. Like some kind of weird like company store employee or something of Chipotle where it's like, I might as well just give Chipotle like a portion of my income and, okay, I'm on 20%. You know, I might as well just give fucking Chipotle like a portion of my income, and you know, they should just prepare my meals like 6 days a week in advance. Okay. All right, I lost all my viewers because of my fucking stuttering. Like I said, I mean, maybe this isn't the greatest live stream I've ever done. This weed's not hitting. Trying to compete with who knows if visually this is even going to be interesting. I don't know. I thought we were in a fucking amusement park. That'd be exciting. I've noticed, you know, I should just do this late at night when I'm at home because that's when most people watch. The thing is, I usually kind of get on at the same time every week. Usually like Tuesdays and Thursdays, but it's always like in the early afternoon, like 5, 6, 7 o'clock. And it's like, you know, it's still sunlight out. Who the fuck is going to want to, you know, especially in the summertime. Who the fuck is going to want to... okay. Watch this during the day. And so it's like... It's weird because some of my videos have been getting like my last vlog got like almost 200 views. Which, you know, they usually get about probably 50 views, somewhere around there. 50 or 60 views, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. And I did promote it a little bit. You know, I shared it on my Instagram. But it's like, some of my videos will sort of pop and get like 200 views. And then, or, you know, like with the live streams, it's like, some of them get 180 views and 10 likes, 13 likes. And then others will get, they'll, you know, like the one I did last week. I was sick last week, so I only did one live stream. And I got like 75 views. And it's like nobody really went and watched it later, I don't think, that much. It's like I had, you know, probably 5 people watching it at the fucking time or whatever. And so, I don't know. When I'm inside, I can kind of focus a little more. I can sort of hone in on what I want to talk about, get deeper. With this, it's like I kind of have to reset every couple of minutes because I'm just like, competing with all these distractions. You know, I think it's exciting being out in the field and, you know, seeing how that affects things. And, you know, everything does affect everything, you know, even if it's just like a subtle influence. You know, the things you might talk about. Might be totally different because you're out here and something, you know, you might see somebody might remind you of something. I mean, or it's even beyond that. I mean, it's just like it's almost like, when you're in a class and you do like a writing group, or you do like writing time. It's like that's something that Philip kind of stresses. This guy's in a go-kart. See, that's pretty lit. I mean, that's kind of cool. Oh, is this a bike lane? Fuck, this must be a bike lane. Right now, fucking bike lane. Like when you're writing. Then if you are alone or whatever, your other writing kind of habit might be your routine. Sorry, this is like jumping all over the fucking place. We're out here on the Mystical Beach. We had to come out and get mystical. We're cosplaying Coney Island like it's Venice Beach. So, we had to be Jim Morrison. We're doing acid. We're staring into the horizon, sunset. The emotions of the sun. We'll sit in front of the New York Aquarium for a sec. It's kind of a nice background. Get some. This kid misunderstood the assignment. Massacring live. So we're going to turn this into like a little fragmented montage. Whatever gets through, it'll be kind of interesting. The way it's all clipped up and kind of cut up. This is like a lag cut up. We're just going to let the lag edit this. Whatever makes it through, it's okay. But it's going to start lagging at some point. It's going to fuck up. And we'll just embrace it. We'll just embrace the fucking jumble of it all. The montage, the accidental montage. Okay, they're shooting some kind of video here. It's pretty cool. I got a fucking old-fashioned microphone. God damn it. The frustrating part of this is I know there's important things that I want to talk about that I... Check my notes. There's a million things. Oh, yeah, looking for an intern. Easy Paradise looking for an intern. We just need somebody to help with social media and outreach. Well, I don't know. I think it would help. This is something that the network suggested. NBC, CBS, KGB. Yeah, so, well, they said something about especially in Manhattan, it's just like so many of the young people are like in university and shit. It's like when people graduate, or like if they move to New York, everybody who's over university, if they're like 18 to 24, they're probably in college. They're over that. They probably live in Brooklyn, right? Because everybody who's 25 to 35 lives out there. Everybody who's basically adult age lives in Brooklyn. So, God, is there anything else I need to talk about? I talked about Chipotle Boys. I talked about Rat Boys. Yeah, I'll be at New York Poetry Festival. I'm at Apotheca Press reading Sunday. I'm at, who else? I'm doing somebody else's reading. Oh, I'm doing Wind Up Mice with Ashley Saturday, and then Easy Paradise reading, I think, is Sunday at like, I don't know. I've got to figure out exactly what. But we'll be there both days, and I'll be reading 3 times. So, not that anybody gives a shit or will come out to see me, because I've alienated everybody in the poetry community in New York. That's how I feel. I just feel like I probably just have to leave New York, because it's just like literally every poet in New York thinks I have a bad attitude, and that it's just awkward. I made it weird. I just made it weird with everybody. But, oh man, we didn't even get the sunset. I kind of started too early. Now the sun's going to start to go down. Fuck. Well, I guess I'll just enjoy it IRL. I won't live stream it or anything. I won't share it, I won't get to share it with my community. Well, yeah, I don't know. The lack of interesting thoughts or material. We bombed today, everybody. We bombed. That's all right. Sometimes it happens. I wonder if this is actually going to be 90 minutes. I wonder if this is actually going to be 90 minutes or if it's going to be like 80 minutes because of all of the fucking... yeah, this is where it fucked up before, so... I wonder if this is actually going to be 90 minutes, because it's like so choppy and it just edited so much out probably. But I don't know. It's just weird. I feel like I've experienced like a trial without, the thing is, nobody actually really spends any time with me. They just kind of make assumptions about me based on the fact that they see me behave one way at the open mic and they think they know who I am, and then I never really see them outside of that, so they think I'm a jerk or a creep, or even, they just draw conclusions. Like I said, they make assumptions, and that's just, I guess, being in public. But like, it's frustrating feeling people make decisions about you that really aren't based on anything that you did. It's not like I hung out with somebody and was weird or mean to them. It's just like I didn't do anything. I didn't see them. I didn't spend any time with them. But even people I know that I do spend time with, feels like their opinion changes based on whatever group opinion is. If everybody thinks that I'm some kind of egomaniac, weird creep or something, then it's just like, well, then just everybody thinks that, And it's like, and everybody assumes that's how it is because they heard about it in some fucking group chat or something. And it's like, that's just, it just feels impossible to meet people's standards, You can get canceled. I feel like cancellation was like a societal thing. There were individual people that get canceled, whatever, fucking Harvey Weinstein. Trump didn't get canceled. But it was more just like everybody was canceled. It's like if you were white, you were canceled. Sort of, in a way. it wasn't that bad, but it was sort of like that. That's the agreement. It's like, if you're a white male, you're guilty because you're guilty. You're guilty by birth because of an inherited history of colonialist violence, and so you're sort of pre-canceled. Just like you can't succeed. You're not going to get the job. They're going to give it to somebody who's not you. And it's not because of anything you did. It's just because it ain't your night, kid. And, okay, I'm gonna wrap it up because this thing is just not working at all anymore. Just kind of fucking It's laggy as fuck. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll get on maybe tomorrow and the next day. I'm not sure, but I'll be back on, if not tomorrow, then the next day. I got to do some more in-person appearances. I got to get back in the kind of open mic circuit. But thank you for watching. And we'll talk soon.